Good afternoon. Glad to have you along with us for Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher, a little under the weather today. As you know, he is undergoing chemotherapy and radiation treatment for a very curable cancer, thank God. But yesterday was rough on him, so he's going to sit this one out. It's just you and me and the fine people at Bayou Smokehouse, 10655 Coursey Boulevard here in Baton Rouge. Old-fashioned barbecue. That is the name of the game here, and this is a great place to have lunch or dinner. I cannot tell you how tough it is to sit up here in this chair when the cooking's going on without drooling all over the desk. But today is May 4th, so may the 4th be with you. Yeah, we're going to get that out of the way. I don't know when they started doing that, by the way, boys and girls. But, you know, it's always been kind of an irritant. Because I don't remember anybody in that movie having a lisp. You know, when Harrison Ford said, "May the force be with you," that was Harrison Ford talking. He didn't sound like Vidal Sassoon. "May the fourth be with you." You know, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work for me. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, and as Clarence just told all of you who are sticking around, here it's going to be Cinco de Bayou. Now, I don't know about all the things on the menu, but I'm sure it will be a great deal of choices, and I'm sure they're going to have some specials on things like margaritas and perhaps Mexican beer. No truth to the rumor that they're putting up a wall that you have to scale to get in and celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Too soon? I don't think so. Anyway, so glad to have you along with us. Do stop by for lunch or for dinner. I think you're going to find that you are going to enjoy it and you are going to want to come back. Severe weather rolling through the area today, tonight, and tomorrow. Those of you in Lafayette are probably going to be spared most of it. The way the radar track looks right now, it's going to go over the top of Lafayette. But those of you in the Florida parishes, East Baton Rouge Parish, Point Capee, down south into the river parishes, and then all the way into the New Orleans metro, we have an enhanced probability of some severe weather. What they're talking about is damaging winds and also some hail that could exceed 2 inches in diameter, as well as lots of wind that goes along with the thunderstorm. So you're going to want to take it easy and be careful as we get to, in the Baton Rouge area, about 5 p.m. But this will also hang over into tomorrow, Wednesday. For those of you who see us later tonight on the repeat, you'll be able to tell from your local forecast if the danger is over in your neck of the woods. But the prediction right now and the models are that it's still going to be bad throughout the wee small hours of Wednesday morning and maybe into Wednesday midday. So a word to the wise is sufficient. Real quickly, did anybody see the video of that panic stampede at the Crawfish Festival in St. Bernard Parish? Apparently, there were 3 fistfights that they know of. And then there was a shooting incident a couple blocks away. But they had a stampede. There were people that were running and jumping over fences into where the milkshaker ride was swinging the gondolas within inches of their heads. The sheriff there says, "I don't know what to make of this." They haven't arrested anybody for starting the fights. But he said that kind of panic stampede, and if you look at it, oh my God. These people are running like somebody just tossed a grenade and it hadn't gone off yet. And of course, that also leaves us with the question of, why in the world are they having a crawfish festival in St. Bernard Parish? I checked. They don't do any significant crawfish processing or fishing in St. Bernard Parish. And the normal place to have the Crawfish Festival in the state of Louisiana has been for years and years and years and years and years the Henderson-Bro Bridge area. So I don't know what was up with this crawfish festival, but boy, it did not go well once the fights escalated, turned into brawls. Now, again, no weapons, looked like just fist fights, but I mean, I am talking hundreds of people running in all 4 compass points just to get away from what they perceived was the danger. And I say this to you before the break because we're going to talk about some of the dangers that they're afraid of, and all of us in South Louisiana are afraid of. That is the escalating amount of gun violence that we hear about, or maybe hear in person, every single day. We have become a shooting gallery. We're going to talk about a couple of these incidents when we return on Exiles TV. Stick around.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher is out today, not feeling exceptionally well. Hey, we are live at Bayou Smokehouse, old-fashioned barbecue on Coursey Boulevard. Do come on by, grab a bite to eat, grab something to drink. We would be happy to have you join us here and enjoy the program as well as your lunch. We were talking about the dangers of living in South Louisiana. Domestic violence is one. Getting killed at the point of a gun is another, and sometimes they collide. We just got word that the baby, the 4-month-old boy that was kidnapped yesterday by his father after his father shot his girlfriend, the baby's mother, and the mother's nephew, and led police on a chase that went all the way into the state of Mississippi. Eric Darrell Smith, age 30. He traded gunfire with the cops in Biloxi, and he lost. He shot his ex-girlfriend, Kristen Parker, who was 32, and her nephew, Brandon Parker, 26 years old, around 11:30 in the morning yesterday. It was at Parker's home near Baker, Louisiana. He then grabbed the 4-month-old son, LaMelo Parker, and left the scene. Now, we do know that Smith was the baby's biological father. He was spotted because they were tracking his cell phone, by the way, which is why we had no Amber Alert. I'll get back to that in a minute. But he was spotted just before 3 p.m. at the Louisiana-Mississippi state line. Multiple Mississippi law enforcement agencies engaged in a pursuit with Smith on I-10 eastbound. There were deputies from sheriff's departments, there were Louisiana state troopers, and there were state troopers from Mississippi. They put down spike strips and they flattened his tires, and he kept going until the engine got so hot that it just stopped. At which point, he elected to trade gunfire with all those law enforcement vehicles. And if you saw the news footage yesterday, it looked like a scene from Smokey and the Bandit. You saw his blue Nissan Altima out in front of a sea of flashing blue lights. There must have been 40 vehicles. Why? Well, they were worried about that 4-month-old. So he was dead at the scene from multiple gunshot wounds. The perpetrator of all this, again, his name, Eric Durrell Smith. The child was taken with gunshot wound or wounds, we're still not sure of that, immediately from the scene in a police car to a hospital. They stabilized the child as best they could in the hospital there in Gulfport, and then they took him to All Children's Hospital, which is a children's specialty hospital in Mobile, Alabama. They had hope that the child was going to survive. However, we now know the baby died of the wounds that were sustained after that exchange of gunfire. What we do not know at this particular point is whether the suspect, the victim or the deceased person, the perpetrator, shot the child, or whether the child was caught in the crossfire between the law enforcement agencies and Eric Durrell Smith. Mississippi authorities will be handling the investigation into the fatalities. East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office will be handling the investigation into the fatalities at the home just outside of Baker. This is a tragedy that goes beyond the simple saying that this guy and his girlfriend had some sort of a falling out, caused them to separate, not live together, and something spurred him into picking up a weapon, going to her house, shooting dead both of the people that were in the house, taking the 4-month-old son, their son, and running from the cops. When the cops disabled his vehicle, he opened fire. By the way, his fatal wound was not self-inflicted. Listening to a little bit of the tape recording from the scene, it sounded like Fallujah. I lost track of counting gunshots at 40. And there were so many that were going on, there's no way I could have counted all the ones that were on top of each other. This was a horrific crime caused by an unbalanced individual in a domestic situation who was just so damn mad, if he couldn't have her, nobody was going to have her, and he was going to take that kid, and if the cops were going to come and get him, he was going to battle it out. How delusional. How sick. How sad. And by the way, how freaking dangerous for everybody that lived in this guy's orbit. Let's just say he made it away from the cops for a couple of hours. I need some money if I'm going to keep running. So he walks into a racetrack or a Circle K and decides, what the hell? I killed 2 people earlier. I'll just blast these people and take the cash and get some food and drink for me and my baby. The point of all this is we have so many freaking nut jobs running around without a leash. You cannot tell me, you will not convince me, there isn't somebody who knew that this guy was a stick of dynamite with a fuse about 3/4 of an inch long, and sooner or later somebody was going to die at his hands, probably his girlfriend. And by the way, this wasn't just give me the kid, no, and open fire. Did you hear the interview with the neighbor who heard the shots and went over there and tried to help the mom of this 4-month-old? Did you hear her interview? She said she thought she might be able to do something to stop the bleeding. But she was headshot twice. This wasn't, I'm going to pull out my gun and wave it around and, and just fire. He executed his baby's mother. How many more Eric Durrell Smiths are walking around in our orbit? How many of us have to worry who's going to go off on a homicidal rampage next? Is there anything to be done? You know what? I think so. I do. But I don't think that I'm going to get much agreement on what I think needs to be done. We'll talk more after the break on Exiles TV.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
The selection is deep, and the time to get a used car is right now from the Team Automotive Group. Shop and save on over 125 certified vehicles and choose from more than 700 pre-owned vehicles at any of our team locations. Or log on anytime at teamautouse.com.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher, not feeling too well today, so he is resting at home. By the way, we are at Bayou Smokehouse, good old-fashioned barbecue here. It is the real deal. Do come on out, have lunch with us. I promise I won't eat off your plate, but you're going to enjoy everything that is on your plate. That I can guarantee you. So we're talking about this horrific murder, kidnapping, loss of life. 4 lives were lost yesterday because of someone that apparently has no impulse control. And one of the people who lost his life was a 4-month-old child. All of this happened because of Eric Durrell Smith. He went to his ex-girlfriend's home just outside of Baker, Louisiana, around lunchtime, shot her twice in the head. Shot her nephew, Brandon Parker, 26 years old, both dead at the scene. Snatched the 4-month-old child that he shared with Kristen Parker and took off. Now, as an aside, there have been people that have been asking everybody on God's green earth, why wasn't there an Amber Alert on this missing child? Well, like a great many people, he has a tracking device on his phone, and that became known to Louisiana State Police and the Sheriff's Department. So obviously, they'd had some interaction with this guy at some point in the past. And so they knew where he and the phone were. They knew that he had already killed 2 people and that he was armed. So they felt no need to put out an Amber Alert where you might have had another death with people trying to do the right thing. Case in point, earlier this year, the kid that was snatched from the Opelousas area, and they put out that Amber Alert, and it was 2 sanitation drivers that found his abductor and the child, and they confronted him. They blocked the road with their vehicle, and they confronted the guy. Well, they didn't want anybody confronting this guy. He'd already killed 2 people, and they knew where he was. So that's why there was no Amber Alert. And they were coordinating with Mississippi authorities once they saw he was headed for the border to try to find a place to stop his vehicle as gently as they could, because that 4-month-old kid was still in the vehicle. But I don't believe for 1 minute, and God knows I've been wrong before, but I don't think I'm wrong about this one, that this guy didn't have some sort of a history. That he hadn't had the cops called, that he hadn't had a complaint of some sort of domestic abuse, or that he hadn't made threats against his ex-girlfriend. Now, I also think that it was probably known in his circle, family, friends, employers, that this guy either had a bad temper or he seemed to have some sort of emotional problem, or both. Yet nobody who had the ability to engage him to keep him from killing 3 people, because yes, that baby's death is on his head as well. He's the one who chose to get into a gun battle with about 40 cops. And he ended his own life, by the way. Well, they ended it for him, because he decided to exchange gunfire with an overwhelming force. But why is it nobody did anything affirmative to keep this guy from killing his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend? If he had a domestic violence complaint, he should not have had access to a weapon. My guess is that the complaint was never followed up on, because all too often, men abuse women in the heat of the moment. Somebody gets scared, either a kid or the victim herself. They call the cops, and the cops say, all right, we're going to file charges. We don't have a choice, but you got to show up in court and testify. And they go to the DA's office and they say, I don't want to testify. It was all a mistake. I was to blame as much as he was. The problem with that is it prevents, or it certainly hinders, the ability of those who are sworn to protect you from someone who is swearing in your face that he's going to hurt you or kill you. I believe that you can prevent these god-awful murders. But you got to get a little drastic. You got to hook him up. You got to take him away. You got to execute a search warrant on his house. You got to put him in the database the day that you hook him up. You got to put a protective order in place for that woman and her child, or if it's a woman abusing a man, vice versa. But you can't do it because we know for a fact that they're going to come back and that it's going to get worse. We also know that sadly, we cannot rely on the victims of domestic abuse to make decisions that are in their best interest. While this is a free country and everybody has a right to make their own mistakes, I'll bet this poor dead woman looking down on us from the great beyond wishes that she had done something to prevent, if it was not just her death, but her nephew's death and her 4-month-old son's death. So we know we cannot rely on the victims of abuse, whether they're physically abused, whether they're threatened, whether they just know what a bad temper he has, whether he's made a visit in the middle of the night saying, I'll be back. We cannot depend on them to make decisions that are in their own self-interest. Last time we talked about domestic violence right here, and domestic violence homicide, which, by the way, is up 300%. Now, this homicide didn't happen in East Baton Rouge. Well, 2 of them happened in East Baton Rouge Parish. But last time we had this discussion right here, we also heard that a vast number of people who get threatened, who get abused, who get slapped around, who sometimes get bones broken, will come by after the cops have taken their abuser. By the way, and men get abused by their wives too, or their girlfriends. Sometimes they get some pretty severe injuries. And they will come by the DA's office and say, look, I don't want to testify, which leaves the DA with no case. And they have to drop it. So, I guess what I am asking, and we are living in a city, in a parish, in a state that has become part of the national argument. Not a discussion, it's an argument. Can you prevent this kind of crime? If you say yes, it can be prevented, are you willing to do what you need to do to prevent it? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to say, hook them up, execute search warrants, put protective orders into place, find out if they're on parole or probation, find out if you can do anything to physically keep this man from harming this woman, even if it's done at great expense, and even if it's right on the edge of the law. And then, you know what? We'll go and we will lobby the legislature like our hair is on fire if they want to raise the fuel tax at the pump 0.5 cent. We will act like they are sticking a knife into our heart. Who's willing to lobby the legislature to write some laws that actually will keep domestic partners from abusing each other physically? I think we've got enough laws now that cover the verbal and all that, but I am talking about the beating, the stabbing, and as we're seeing way too often, the shooting. Remember what I said at the beginning of this little missive. Domestic homicide is up in East Baton Rouge Parish over 80%. And that's not counting the 2 that got added yesterday. And if you want to put in the 4-month-old's death, because it certainly happened as a result of his dad, it's going to make the score even worse. I don't want to see this happen again. But I also don't want us to walk around as a group of really well-intentioned people. We've got mostly good people in our viewing audience, in our area, in our state. But I don't want to walk around whistling past the graveyard with a bunch of other really good people saying, oh, that's a shame. Wish I could have done something about it. Well, maybe we can find a way to actually do something about it as we move forward. A brief break, and then we're back with more on Exiles TV.
Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
The first big sale of the year is here. The Dream Garage Spring Event is underway at Team Honda. For the first time ever, get $12.50 customer cash on every new 21 Passport, or get 0% for 60 months on every new 21 Pilot at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. Glad to have you along with us. Kevin Gallagher, not feeling well today, but I'll tell you what, folks in the kitchen are feeling pretty good over at Bayou Smokehouse on Coursey Boulevard, 10655, home of old-fashioned barbecue. It smells good. Lots of folks enjoying their lunch. A couple of folks enjoying a little midday adult beverage, but they are open for business. They're brand new at this location. Many of you know them from their takeout business in the past, full service as well as takeout, and great food. Come on by, say hello, grab a bite to eat. We will always be happy to see you. We're spending a lot of time today talking about crime. I'm going to do the Face ID here. There it is. We're spending a lot of time talking about crime because we're spending a lot of time with crime in this area, quite frankly. Our murder rate is through the roof. Not all of it with guns, which makes it even more scary because when we talk about number of murders, we always talk about guns. We don't hear about beatings and stabbings and poisonings, etc. In fact, the man who was found lying beside North Acadian Thruway 2 days ago, who was unresponsive, he has now passed away. The police know he had some sort of an attack, that he was attacked in some way. He wasn't shot, and they are asking for help in case you've seen anything. Here's one that resonated with a lot of people. A lot of people in the university communities, both LSU and Southern, were talking about Derek Cavazos, a lawyer, a teacher at Southern University, a dad, and now deceased due to gun violence. A home invasion at his home on Saturday night on Ashby Avenue, taking his life. 35 years old, someone busted into his home, residential area, off South Flannery, and they exchanged gunfire. The suspect was wounded. Derek Cavazos was killed. His is just the latest in this persistent spike. I'm going to thank Leah Skeen from The Advocate for that term. I hadn't heard it before, but I think she actually has used the language properly. A persistent spike in homicides across East Baton Rouge Parish. In the first 4 months of 2021, 50 people were murdered. More than 100 were wounded in violent crime in this area. This, by the way, is going to outpace the carnage if it keeps up at this persistent rate, and there's no reason to assume it will not continue at this persistent rate. This will continue, and we will once again set the kind of record we don't want to set, and that is for homicide in East Baton Rouge Parish. Now back to young Derek Cavazos, 35 years of age. The accused burglar, Terrius Brown, who was wounded in the exchange of gunfire, is expected to survive and will be booked into jail upon his release from the hospital. He will be charged with first-degree murder because in the state of Louisiana, one of the smart things we've ever done in our penal code is if you kill somebody in the commission of another crime, you get first-degree murder, which means you could also get the needle for your crime. Happened about 3:45 in the morning. Police say their detectives do not believe that it was a random attack, that this guy targeted Derek Cavazos' home. They do not know at this particular point, or have declined to reveal, whether or not Derek Cavazos and Terrell Brown knew each other. But they do know the burglar accused of shooting him lives less than a half a mile away. This is just another example of, let me tell you what I call this. I call this institutionally, ridiculously stupid crime. I call this beyond random crime, which we're all afraid of. But I mean, let's look at what happened Sunday. The Walmart neighborhood market, the corner of Highland Road and Lee Drive. Some guy at 3:15 in the afternoon, broad daylight, decides he wants to rob somebody in the parking lot. That guy didn't want to be robbed. He got shot for his trouble, and he is recovering in the hospital from serious but not life-threatening wounds, and the guy who did it is in the wind. And I have to wonder if it's the same idiot who attempted a 3:30 in the afternoon broad daylight armed robbery in the parking lot of the downtown McDonald's on Government Street, which is like Grand Central Station from about 6 a.m. to about 8 p.m. This guy pointed his gun at the guy in the drive-through line. The guy in the drive-through line decided that he would run over the sign in the shrubs to get away from this guy. This guy is in the wind now, too. By the way, the police department is asking us to call Crime Stoppers if we know anything about these, but they're not giving us a description. They are not saying male, female, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, short, tall, slim, fat. They're not giving us anything to go on. And I'm sorry, I think with the situation that we have in our parish and with some of the political insensitivities that we have in our parish that applies sometimes to policing, I think there's a reason they are not giving us a description which would eliminate half of the entire population. If they really want our help, tell me it was a white guy, and that will eliminate half the population. Tell me it was a black guy, and that will eliminate half the population in our general area. Now, if it is the same guy, anybody stupid enough to try to commit an armed robbery in broad daylight in a very crowded parking lot, the McDonald's incident was a black guy. But they're not telling us who it was. They're not telling us a damn thing about the one in the Walmart neighborhood market. And I think they're not telling us, they're not giving us any kind of a description because of political sensitivity rather than any practical assistance request from the general public. And you know what? I think the world of the folks at Crime Stoppers. I think they bust their butt. I think the world of most of our police agencies when they have to investigate a crime, particularly where somebody gets hurt. But you know what I don't think the world of? Everybody says, well, we're always pointing the finger. We're always pointing the finger. So let's just say, hey, if you know anything about this, call Crime Stoppers. Let's not say it's a black male, appears to be under the age of 30, thin, slight build, 5'10". Let's not do that because you're leading the description with black male. Do you think you're fooling anybody? What percentage of street crime in this parish do you think is not committed by black males? Now, don't go calling me names. You can verify this. Who do you think you're fooling when you don't give a description where somebody is shot in a parking lot in an attempted armed robbery? What do you think the percentage of violent random crime or violent planned crime that involves weapons in this parish is committed by somebody other than a young black male? I can promise you, it's a very, very small percentage. But they say they would like our help. I'd say most of us are happy to help them. But what's the old line? Help me, help you? Tell me what I'm looking for. Give me a clue. Give me a break with the political correctness. I can't take any more of it. I really can't. I am just about done. Back in a moment on Exiles TV.
Got spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Welcome back, Exiles TV with Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher not feeling real well today. Hey, come on out and have lunch or come by tonight for dinner. Bayou Smokehouse, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, good old-fashioned barbecue, They do a great job with it here. You'll enjoy it, I promise you. You don't get to hear stories like this very much, and it might be better if you did hear stories like this. A mother gave up her newborn child to the St. George Fire Department over the weekend, just hours after the child was born. The woman called the St. George Fire Department around 2 a.m. Sunday morning and requested that a woman, I think she requested that a female meet her. I don't think she requested a specific woman, meet her outside in the parking lot to take her baby. Now, you can surrender an infant, no questions asked, at hospitals, police stations, and fire stations in the state of Louisiana. If you feel that you cannot take care of this child, if you're going to feel that you might harm this child, that if you feel that this child will not have the ability to live and thrive with you, you can surrender your baby. I believe it's up to 1 year of age, at any hospital, at any fire station, at any police station in this state, and it's no questions asked. A female communications officer from the St. George Fire Department arranged to meet with the mom in a well-lit area of the lot. The baby was handed to her through the car window. Now, the newborn was not surrendered with any kind of paperwork or details of any family health history. Officials say it's important information they wish the mother had left behind, but it's not necessary. The Safe Baby Sites program allows mothers who believe they're unfit to parent to surrender their baby up to 60 days, not up to a year, to any location that allows with no questions asked. The people with St. George Fire Department are grateful that this mother made the decision to trust them to take care of their child until permanent arrangements can be made. The kid was brought to Women's Hospital, to their newborn unit for an examination. They said that the child had some pretty good lungs, cried all the way through the examination, which is probably a really good sign. But they say that she appears to be in good health. Our buddy Eldon Ledoux, who comes on this program from time to time with St. George, he's their public information officer, said this is the third or fourth time someone has surrendered their child to the St. George Fire Department. And if you want to learn more, by the way, it's in the Louisiana Safe Haven Law. All you have to do is Google Louisiana Safe Haven Law, and you can find out about that. But as Eldon Ledoux said, it took a lot of courage for the mother to say, this newborn baby is not going to be given a proper life with me. Let me call the fire department and let me hand the baby over. You know, it's all too often where it goes the other way, where the baby is just discarded, sometimes found and cared for, sometimes not found until it's too late. So again, for our friends at St. George, aren't you glad that you are thought of so highly, that this woman, as others have, surrendered their baby to you, just started on a second, better life. Also, for those of you who are Catholic in our viewing area, which I guess is a whole lot of you, Bishop Michael Duca released modified guidelines yesterday for Mass attendance in the Baton Rouge Diocese. I think you can figure that if you're in the Lafayette Diocese or in the New Orleans Diocese, it will be similar. He basically announced changes in social distancing and the number of pews that will be open. He said masks will still be required, and the dispensation from obligation to attend Mass every Sunday will stay in place until June 6th. He said, most of the guidelines the governor has modified deal with the wearing of masks in gatherings outside and inside of buildings. Each of these is modified depending on the amount and possibility of physical distancing. Of particular importance for gathering in the church is the guideline that allows the option to gather at full capacity for Mass if masks are worn. Because it is my desire to be able to invite more parishioners back to Mass and have a place for them as they return, I have decided that we will keep the mandate to wear masks and begin to lessen physical distancing as more parishioners return to church. Now, the bishop assured Catholics they should continue to consider themselves exempt from the obligation to attend Mass if they are unvaccinated or if they have underlying conditions which make the virus more dangerous, or if they are simply fearful. He added the new rules will be implemented on a parish-by-parish basis depending on the size of the parish, the capacity of their church buildings, and their ability to safely accommodate more worshipers as social distancing is reduced. So, if you're a Catholic, you can still not attend Mass if you feel fearful about it, but if you'd like to go back, bring a mask. They're going to lessen the social distancing, and they're going to welcome more people into Mass in the Diocese of Baton Rouge, probably the same thing in the Diocese of Lafayette and also the Diocese of New Orleans. That brings us near the end of our time together. We thank you so much for being with us. A reminder, you can watch again at 10 o'clock tonight. And a reminder that we want you to stay safe in this bad weather that's going to roll through for the next 24 hours. Take good care of yourself, be well, and we'll see you next time on Exiles TV. Thanks so much for joining us.